Hello, Tyler Chianelli here, option trading coach, founder, and head trader at Options Trader Club. And in this upcoming video, you're going to learn about the power of earnings. It's working again and again. You've probably seen other YouTube videos of mine of several 100% gains through earnings, and it's still happening, and it's going to continue to still happen. So if you're not trading now, think about your time and think about what you can do to change to start getting involved. Because in this video, you're going to learn a process and really the framework that I'm doing right now inside my Options Trader Club, where I have these amazing members and people bring ideas to me because there's so much out there. I can't do it all myself, but having a success-driven trading community of like-minded individuals is creating immense opportunities. And that's what this is going to show you about. I'm going to take an excerpt out of the recent live trading room, and you're going to see what this is about, how it works, kind of the off-the-cuff analysis when someone says, what about this idea? That sounds interesting, you didn't know about that. And then you're going to see me go through the process of analyzing, extracting, and really identifying what's the best trade. I might go back and forth before I make that decision, but I always make a lot of trades during these live trade rooms. They're a lot of fun, fast-paced, a lot of questions, a lot of excitement, a lot of insight of what's working in the markets and how you can get involved. So go ahead, watch this video, and I will see you on the end part. So question from Muhammad K.R. Kroger is definitely interesting, and thank you for bringing this to my attention because I did not see this on the radar. Love the activity on this quadrant here with the open interest. Earnings is tomorrow before the market. Didn't have a trade on this, but if you have any ideas, I'd love to hear from you, Muhammad. Thank you for bringing this up. This is definitely a tradable stock. It looks like we could do something around a 31, 32 strike, perhaps. Interesting. I want to look at the fundamentals just on Kroger and see what the earnings. So sometimes when I get indecisive with a trade idea like this, I look at the earnings growth, and you can see it's down from 2015 to 2016, which doesn't tell us that much. Let's look quarterly. You can see from Q3 2016 to Q4 2016, we had actually a nice increase. And the Q1 hasn't posted for some reason, but these are pretty solid numbers, like a very safe and steady PE ratio at 15. Book value is only 460, and I think it's very conceivable for a stock like this to trade 8 to possibly 10 times book value. But 8 fours are 32.5. So this is definitely like a $35 stock. If they have a good earnings number, this could easily trade up 8 or 10%, and you can make a killing on these 31 calls for the front week, for this week, if it trades up 10%. If we can trade up to 33, a little less than 8.5, do an H&R Block example, when it does about an 8 or 9% move, these 31s would be worth about $2. So it could be about a 300% gain on them. The more I think about this, probably not going to hold the trade much longer. If it doesn't move, that's the only reason, logical explanation of why I would hold a trade into July. But after you get that earnings move of, say $2, if we can trade up to 32 tomorrow, I would take off the trade completely. I mean, yeah, 29 and 31 is what I'm seeing. 29 and 31. So let's calculate the break even on this triangle. So this is a really important thing right now that I want to make sure we all get, including myself as I'm talking through this. I don't want to mess this up. So projected move is $1.50. Trading at 30.30 roughly. So $1.50 on top of that puts you at 31.80. 31.80 is right. We're buying the 31 strike. So our break even on this is 31.60. So this trade is going to do well if we meet or exceed the projected move with a 10% cushion on our favor if it does, say, a $1.30 move. So I like the June strangle, and I like the fact that today's Wednesday and they report tomorrow before the bell, which means we could trade this into Friday perhaps. So I think this is just like the other ones. I mean, this is one where I don't have any idea if the stock's going up or down. but I do like the fact that it's closer to 31, and I can get, because I have a slightly bullish bias looking at the chart, and the 29s, which both have great liquidity. There's 12,000 contracts here, 17,000 here, a little weighted on the call side, but you never know. So this is a trade that I think makes a lot of sense, and putting on an 8 lot is what I'm going to put on. Wow, it just jumped 5 cents. So starting to give up that edge pretty quick. There we have it, 67 cents. So break even is 31.67 on the upside. The downside is 28.33. 28.33. Let me draw this out. 31.67 that's the break even on the upside. The break even on the downside is 28.30, which is definitely a lot lower. So you can see that we need a pretty nice, and honestly, if this trade doesn't move a lot tomorrow, I don't think you panic. I think you hold out till Friday. Good example, last earnings was right here, 53 cents, trades down from 32 to 30 and a half, so about $1.50 move. And then the following day it trades down from 30 and a half down to 29 and a half. That extra dollar is very significant on something like this. So say tomorrow it trades up to 31 and a half and we're right under break even. I think you definitely, if you can, hold out till Friday and anticipate a continuation or same to the downside. So that's one more earnings trade that got filled, which I think is a very good one. Thank you, Mohammed, for bringing that to the attention of the group here. All right, welcome into my trading application. So this is the chart on Kroger going into earnings. And I have to say, I trade all different strategies, longer term leaps and growth strategies, shorter term high probably income option strategies. These short term earnings, more speculative strategies have been working great. Through the first half of 2017, I've created this very detailed and transparent tracking spreadsheet, which I'm going to go over with you in a minute just to show you kind of the backlog of what's been happening. But before we do that, this is where the stock was. It's right around 30 a share. And this was my hash marks right here where I had like an estimation at a support level. And this is kind of how I structured the trade. And I did my due diligence that I always talk about in my live trading rooms, looking at open interest, liquidity, volume, bid-ask spreads, strike price selection and frequency, expiration, are there weekly options, using some arbitrage strategies are always effective. But at the end of the day, you never know what's going to happen on earnings. I mean, this is a good example. And I don't know the details. I didn't read too much into the report because there's not enough time in the day. Unless you have a lot of capital on the line, I don't see the importance of really, or if you're a long-term investor in a stock, I don't see the importance of really extrapolating the numbers. But you can see the 58 cents was the actual number that was announced, and their estimate was 57.5 cents roughly. So they beat, and the stock got crushed. And it just goes to show you that you can have a situation where the stock beats on earnings and misses on a revenue or guidance, and the stock can get hit really hard. Or the other side, the stock could beat on earnings and beat on revenue, and it doesn't go anywhere. So you really never know what's going to happen. There's a lot of intuition and instincts and historical track record that helps me facilitate these strategies. But this is what I was seeing. I was seeing a stock that was in a very long, sideways, tight Bollinger Band type market. And, I thought it was maybe could trade down to 28 was where my estimation was, and 32 was my upside. So the trade that I bought is right here. This is my detailed earnings income trader. That's the strategy that I call this. This is the spreadsheet that I use to keep very detailed records and kind of showcase the results. And of course, you're going to have losses. I mean, I'm nowhere near perfect at this at all, but the track record speaks for itself. So this is Kroger. It's 30.34 is the current price going in. Long strangle was the trading strategy. Bought the June 16, 2017 options. Only did an 8 lot, 31 calls, 29 puts, and my cost basis was a 67 cent debit per lot, which is $67 times 8 is only a $536 trade. Very reasonable. A lot of traders could facilitate something like this, especially the ones that I work with. And you can see that the close out the day after. So the actual minutes in the trade was probably maybe 45 minutes, because I always trade towards the last hour of the day. And the calls were worthless, so I didn't even close those out. But the puts, I sold those for $227 a contract, and I sold them early. So I want to emphasize this. You're never going to get it perfect. Gapped through the projected level that I was hoping for it to go to so that this could make a profit. And it opened around 26-ish, 26.50. It went up a little bit, about 27 and a half, not even 27.25 was the high. And I closed out within the first 15 minutes of the day. And if I had held it through the day, I would have made more like a 500% gain. But you can't worry about that. And this is the results right here. It was a $1,260 net profit. This was my total credit into the account after it was closed out. And it was a 235% return one day. These were happening week after week. And we have this Rolodex of trades every quarter. So you should, if you want to learn more about this, I recommend you go to earningsincometrader.com. This is the name up here. And that'll get you into a very specialized marketing funnel. That'll give you all of the information to start applying this and get involved with this in the next cycle, because there's so much opportunity. And to show you kind of a little bit more insight, this is the track record. So I kind of started this back in 2016. You can see some of the trades back here. Took a really big loss on Amazon. It was a $6,000 trade, which was whipsawing my trade size. You got to be careful with that. But when you start in 2017, this is really when I started getting serious and doing this on a continual basis. You can see that on a cumulative basis, all of these trades is a sum of 679%. And you're seeing this live. This is kind of out of an excerpt of an email to my members. So the gains on this is using about a $20,000 portfolio, which is segmented inside a larger one. But if you look at these results, and it's actually a little more than this because I just closed out this Essentra trade today for a 20% gain, but it's about a 32%, in the first half of 2017, it's up 32%, this strategy portfolio. The average trade size is $500 to $600. You can scale this to any account size. You can do $50,000 earnings trades if it's deemed necessary. The largest winner so far with this earnings strategy has been a 448% gain, which is down here, I'll show you. And then there's been 7 other triple digit winners, and this is saying 41. There's actually 42 now because this has been updated since I did this. But out of the 41, 9 of them have been max losses. Very important that you know that you're not going to get all these right. You're going to get a lot of them wrong too. But the most important thing is that you can be wrong and still make money, because your winners, if you trade them properly and you let them work, then they're going to overshadow in a very drastic way your losses. So you're going to have max losses. That's just part of the game. That's why you got to spread this. This is why I'm a huge believer of using the law of averages. The average gain per trade is about 17%, and I'm executing at least 20 of these every earnings quarter. So you can see down here, this was a nice trade that was an earlier of this cycle, right around the middle of May. 150%, that was Palo Alto. This was the 448% trade on Foot Locker. My biggest loss of the year, I think, was this one for 840 on Workday, which was a long double diagonal spread. Didn't move at all. And then there's a few more down here that you can see. But if I just take so far from the first trade I did on Netflix in January 18th, 2017, if I start here and go up, the sum is $6,400. So, I mean, it's nothing to brag about. I mean, some people make this in a day or a week or a month. For 6 months to have this happen, the actual time invested is probably 5 or 10 hours. I mean, it doesn't take more than 5 or 10 minutes to make a trade, and 40 trades is the number here, maybe 42 now. So this is something that you can do if you're just getting started and you want to get, practice this. I definitely recommend, always testing and paper trading before you go live. Stay within your comfort zone. Use a risk management formula, which I can help you with. Whether you want to go to tradingmasteryprogram.com or Option Trading Coach, I have a lot of different videos on that whole side of the business. But this is what's happening. So you can see that a lot of these triple digit trades, they're not that long duration. The longest one I think I have is 17 days. So this is a shorter term strategy, which I like because you don't have to have things be, you don't have to have capital out there too long to make a nice return, but this is what I'm doing. So if you want to get involved with this, we're going to have earning cycles indefinitely you can do this every quarter. Now, there's definitely some facets and some very special intricacies that I would emphasize. You got to be careful on liquidity. You don't want to, have a lot of slippage. You don't want to be doing this on names that aren't liquid. You also want to be selective on the names that you do trade, and you want to spread it around. If you hit, one home run, and then you think you're going to hit another home run and you put too much capital on, you could definitely shoot yourself in the foot. So you got to be careful, you got to stay disciplined, and you got to keep the focus. And I think to average 20, 25 earnings trades per quarter is very realistic, especially for people with busy schedules, because these trades, you're going to be putting them on the last hour of the day a lot of times, because a lot of these are, 1 day durations, and I always put them on the last hour of the day before. And there'll be some that, might be a couple weeks out. I mean, there's definitely several trades in here that have been put on a week out and then closed out before earnings. I mean, I think one of the ones I remember, which probably down here, like if it's 40 or 50% gain, and it never even had to take the risk. So there's all different ways of doing this. There's the volatility rush and then the crush. And if you can really set yourself up with a plan of capitalizing on either of those and deploying the right strategy, I use strangles, I do iron condors, I do some double diagonals, sometimes unbalanced or skewed, legging into things, and making it work for you is what it's all about. So this is this track record. The most recent one was closed out when I'm shooting this video here, which was a little bit more of a high probability. It was a long double diagonal spread on Accenture, ACN. 20% gain one day. I mean, this is something that is happening week after week, month after month, quarter after quarter. It's going to continue to happen because the focus is there, the track record is set, and if you keep this up, this is something that I definitely recommend, is to keep records, because you can look back and you can see, what you did wrong, or maybe, like for example, on Kroger, I closed it out within the first 15 minutes a day. I haven't put my notes in yet, but this is an example where I should have scaled out. I should have sold 4 and then let the other 4, because this expiration, even though it was very close, I got it on the 14th and they expired in 2 days. If I show you the chart real fast, look what happened on Friday. So this was Thursday. So this is Wednesday when I got in, gapped down through the support level that I anticipated, ended up opening at 26.75 roughly. And then it really just traded down to 24.5 by the end of the day. And that doesn't seem significant, but when you have short-term options that expire very soon, that could be several $1,000s on a very small trade like this too. Because instead of closing these out for $2.27 each, I could have closed them out for $4.27 each, or even more. On Friday, if I had a couple left, these are worth down here, like if I have the 29 strike puts just off of intrinsic value, which is how I'd calculate that since there's no time left. That's 22.25 up to 29. That's a $7.75 option. So a $7.75 option, it's basically 1,000%. And that's including the cost basis of the calls, because this is a package trade. So if I'm paying $67 for one lot, that one lot is buying one call and one put. And then the calls, a lot of times, if you can salvage a nickel or a dime before it's too late, if you can get it in the first 5 or 10 minutes of the bell, when you know that it's going the other way, that can help cover your commissions. But there was no bid on that, so you can't worry about what you can't control. All you can focus on are the things that you can control, like having a smart, methodical, profit-taking strategy, being able to reallocate and stay dedicated for the next cycle. And that's what I can help you with. So with that being said, I look forward to seeing you on the next Earnings Income Trader class or video series. And go over to earningsincometrader.com and I will see you on the closing remarks. All right, you just saw a glimpse into what an actual live trade room looks like. Of course, there's a lot more continuity and questions and a lot more activity and trade ideas and showing different past trade results. But at the end of the day, this is all about your education. It's all about making this a valuable and worthy use of your time. And the whole goal here is to have a rising equity curve in your portfolio by making consistently smart trades and decisions. So all I can say is that you didn't see the outcome of these trades, but one in particular that was closed out the day after this live trading was that earnings trade on Kroger. And I can tell you that that trade made several 100%. It made over 200% gain in one day. And I'm going to show you what this is all about through a video series that I put together. If you just go to earningsincometrader.com, so www.earningsincometrader.com, go ahead and put in your name and email, and you're going to see the entire process of how this works and how you can get involved in the upcoming earnings trades that are going to be always prevalent, always working. Opportunities abound. Get ready, get excited. Go to earningsincometrader.com, and I'll see you on the next video.